This is just a very brief video showing the packaged up Hack-Tic Demon Dialer box. I have it packaged up with a telephone earpiece behind the front panel here, with a hole pattern cut to match the pattern on the 150 ohm element. There's a 10K volume control pot, a 1/8 inch phone jack that disconnects the audio from the internal speaker when you plug in an external speaker in traditional phone freak fashion. The little membrane keypad here is the shift key and the power on key that accesses all of the special functions of the keypad. And there's a 3x5 matrix keypad wired into the circuit on the inside of the box. The four AA batteries power the entire circuit, and I reworked the low-pass filter on the output of the digital to analog converter for a little flatter frequency response in the voice band, so the tones sound a little bit better, and it rolls off the sampling frequency of the circuit that generates the tones. A little 2600 magazine sticker somebody sent me about 15 years ago on there, back when I first put ProjectMF online. Thought it looked kind of cool. So kind of nice to get an old box like this of somebody else's design working after 30 years. It was very gratifying. The only thing I think that could top the experience of resurrecting an old design like this that was thought long lost would be if I could duplicate Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs' original blue box. I do have the schematic for his box and understand how it works, but that's a project for another day, although there's a guy I've been working with who is trying to duplicate it. So hopefully some of the old freaking tools from back in the day will make a new appearance. Well, to turn it on, you press the button, and to demonstrate the volume control, I'll turn on the oops. Have to unlock it first. And then I'll access the sweep tone that's used for doing frequency response testing on phone lines. You can hear the volume control is pretty effective. And the volume is more than adequate for most purposes. So in power-up mode, you go into DTMF or touch tone mode, but you can go into various other freaking modes. We'll go to the typical blue box mode, mode 5. And now we're playing multi-frequency or MF tones. Instead of playing KP and start like a typical US blue box, this plays the the clear and the seizure tones for C5 or CCITT signaling system number 5 trunks that were very common in Europe. However, in this mode, you can still press Shift 6 and get the pure US 2600 clear and seizure tone that allows you to control the trunk. Key pulse and MF are shifted 3 and shifted 5, respectively. So they're a little harder to access. You know, you have to do the shifted, almost a two-hand operation, but certainly accessible. If I wanted to program a key sequence, I can do that too. There's 10 memories, or 10 macros as they're called in the manual. You go into macro mode by pressing Shift pound, and now we're in macro mode, and to select a memory to program, you press Shift and the number. And the 4 beeps means there's something in the memory, so we'll override it by pressing pound. And now we're in record mode, so I'll just record all 12 of the basic keys. And I'll put a 2600 tone shifted 6 at the end. And then I'll press Shift pound to end the programming, and to play back. And the tones and the spacing are also adjustable using the macro mode. So it's pretty powerful. So anyway, that's the box. That's the final build, and pretty happy with how it came out and how it looks. Certainly not the most compact thing. I wasn't going for compactness on this since it's going to pretty much sit on a desk. But I was pretty happy with it, and it's quite usable as a desktop unit with ProjectMF. Here's a view of the inside of the Demon Dialer completed box. You can see a lot of space left inside. I've got the 6 volts from the 4 AA batteries. The battery clip going through the diode to supply 5.5 volts to the Demon Dialer circuit. Here's the Demon Dialer chip. There's the special high precision crystal and the loading capacitors and loading resistor. This is the ladder network, the R2R resistor network that takes the 7-bit digital output and converts it into an analog waveform. There's the blue capacitor there is the coupling capacitor, then it goes down into this second order 2-stage low-pass filter that has a 3 dB cutoff point of 3,500 hertz, so it covers pretty much the entire voice frequency band and a little bit above. The sampling frequency is, I think, about 8 kilohertz, and at 8 kilohertz it's about a 9 dB reduction. So the filter isn't great, but it does a fairly good job of reducing the sampling frequency and eliminating any kind of hiss or noise. The impedance of the LM386 amplifiers, which is right here, is fairly high. It's about 10K, so that also helps the performance of the filter rather than trying to drive a speaker directly from the output. It acts as sort of an op-amp kind of circuit. The output is optimized for low impedance speakers, and it drives this old U1 150 ohm Model 500 replica earphone element from a telephone handset quite well. It's not as sensitive or doesn't sound quite as good as the Western Electric one. I'm propping the lid up on there, but it does a fairly decent job of replicating the tones. The volume is quite good. Here's the wiring on the phone jack with the output to the speaker when it's unplugged. Here are the keypad connections, 3 for row, 4 for column, and those plug in using these jumper leads to headers that I put onto the board there. So that's the internals of the unit.